Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome to this video regarding position entering and lot sizing. Okay, what we're going to cover in this short video, hopefully as short as I can make it for you, is the different options in terms of entering a trade. Now, you'll see that we have a typical standard gold standard entry and a typical gold scalping entry. These are the two Telegram channels that you will be a part of within our community. Now, I've given you an example here. If you've watched the previous two videos, this is how I personally take the positions. Now, you may find different ways of managing your positions and different take profit targets that you want to hit, and that's not a problem whatsoever. You can take this logic and you can apply it to what you do and work out your own figures. Okay. Now, as a standard, you can see on average, the stop loss from the first entry to our stop loss level is around 90 pips. And our second entry, which it's halfway in the zone, reduces this to around 65 pips. And our take profit from our entry one is 50 pips. And from our entry two to here will be 75 pips. So you can see if I just get my position size up, okay. If we just put that on there, you'll see, sorry, that's down to there. Okay. So this would be our entry one, something along those lines. And then entry two, you can see the risk reward gets a bit better in your favor. And this is where the difference is in pips. Again, when it comes to our scalping, if we move this over, as you will remember from the video, I have a 40 pip take profit target and layer in 20 pips apart 3 times. Now we can see again, you do have the initial stop loss that the trader gives, but also the second where he says price could come to this level first. And I do personally like to give it that little bit of extra room to breathe. And that is this second stop loss here is the level I have taken into account for our calculations. Okay, so in that instance, you can see for entry one, we have a 40 pip take profit and an 80 pip stop loss. Entry two is in the middle, 60 and 60. And entry three is an 80 pip take profit and a 40 pip stop loss. So obviously it's reversed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some examples. Now we're going to use a fixed lot size, and we're going to pretend that that lot size is the equivalent of £1. Okay, that's the first example I'm going to give you on each. So what you're going to do is you're going to have each entry the same lot size that equates to £1 in monetary value. This is just for ease of maths and to give you an example. Obviously, your account size will determine what lot size you use and therefore how much you are actually risking per trade. We're just going to use £1 per pip as an example for ease of maths and to make it hopefully more understandable for you guys. And then you can take that into your own personal accounts and how this will look for you. Okay, so we're going to come over here and we are going to start with fixed £1 per pip, same lots per entry. Okay. Now what that's going to do is on entry one, that will mean that your take profit and your stop loss. Sorry, I'll tell you what we'll do. This will make it easier. If we do failed, so if this level fails, your entry one would lose you minus £50. Sorry, get this right in a minute. Minus £90. Entry two minus £65. total loss equals minus £155. Okay. So this is for a failed zone. So price comes in, activates both your levels and hits our stop loss level. Okay, so £1 per pip, same lot size per entry. Okay, so that means that the equivalent of £1 per pip from here and £1 per pip from here will give you £155 loss. If this is a winning trade, entry one will obviously give you £50 win. Entry two will give you a £75 win. Total profit in this instance will be £125. So first thing that jumps out with this particular entry, excuse me, phone ringing. First thing that jumps out of this particular entry is your total profit, if both of these entries activate, is going to be less than your total loss if you lose. Therefore, one losing trade will slightly outweigh a winning trade. That's not the end of the world because, as you know, our win rate, our win percentage is extremely high. So you probably need you would need 2 wins with both levels activating in order to be in profit, or you'd need roughly 3 wins if only entry 1 was to activate to keep yourself at break even. So this way of entering, which is the most basic way of entering, will give you would place more importance, shall we say, on being able to get on more of the trades that actually come in throughout the day. Okay, to keep the probabilities on your side. Now, I'm not going to type everything out every single time because we'll be here all day, but you'll get the message. So each one is going to be set out exactly the same. Okay, so if we now split lot per entry, and this should be 50p per pip. Now it's pretty obvious what will happen in this instance is you are just going to half previous results. So risk to reward still slightly against you. More manageable losses. And that when I say more manageable losses, I mean psychologically that will be easier for you to handle because your total loss would equal £77.50. And your total profit would equal £62.50. So what you're doing in this instance, guys, is you're just reducing your risk and splitting your lot size. Instead of having the same lot size on each position, you're splitting it between 2 positions and therefore reducing your risk overall in terms of your monetary value that you could potentially lose. Now, this is a lot better psychologically, especially if you're new, because you don't want to see big chunks of your account wiped out if you're not used to trading and not understanding how this works. So that's one way to make it look a little bit easier on the eye in terms of managing your psychology around these trades. Now, the more complex way of entering, but something that will ultimately start to move things closer together in terms of in your favor. And this is on the standard, by the way. Okay, so just remember that. This is for the gold standard, which is somewhere. This is the channel where you use the exact figures given. Okay, so it's a little bit more regimented. And I don't take as many positions on this because the stop loss is slightly bigger and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is just the way I use it. And what we're relying on with the gold standard is the win rate being as high as it is. Okay, so over a course of a day, over a course of a week, over the course of a month, if you're taking the majority of the trades that come through, your win percentage means that the slight discrepancy between a losing trade and a winning trade should keep you in profit. Okay, so hopefully that's making sense. So the next way is to increase lot size as you lay out. Now, what do we do here? What I'm going to show you an example now is a failed zone. Entry 1 will be 0.25, so 25p per pip, which will equal £22.50 if your first entry goes to stop loss. Entry 2 will be at 0.75p. So basically 3/4 of whatever lot size you're going to trade. So if you take the monetary value away for now, if you was doing one lot per trade, which you would need £1,000 in your account to do so. But if you was doing, sorry, £10,000 in your account to do so, if you was doing one lot per trade, you would do 0.25 and 0.75 lots. Okay, but like I said, we're just using it in pounds and pence to make it easier to understand. So your total loss on 75p at 65 pips would be £48.75. And the total loss overall in this scenario becomes £71.25. So you can see that's dropped again in terms of your total loss up here, £155 or £77.50. Okay, so now the number, the amount of money potentially leaving your account is less again than it was previously. Okay, now winning trade. Entry 1, again, we already know this is 0.25 for 25p equals. Now, the winning trade in this scenario would give you 50 pips, as we know, from entry 1, which will give you £12.50 winning position. And entry 2, 0.75p per pip would then give you £56.25. Meaning your, let's just get this out of the way. Total profit would be £68.75. Now you can see now that we've closed the gap even more between your winning trades and your losing trades. So this is increasing the probability on in your favor, increasing the risk to reward in your favor, and making the need to take so many trades not quite as important as it was up here. You can see that we've reduced the difference between a loss and a win, which was at one stage £30 to now £3, under £3. So it's a big difference in terms of your the differences between a winning trade and a losing trade. So hopefully that makes sense on the gold standard. So we move over to our scalping group, okay? And we'll do the same again. Fixed £1 per pip. Same size. Cloud zone. Entry 1 would obviously give us £80, sorry, would obviously give us £80 loss. Got to put the minuses on, but you guys get the idea. Entry 2 would give us a minus £60 loss. And entry 3 becomes a minus £40 loss. Where do we get those numbers from? Because there's our stop loss from our top entry. 80 pips, 60 pips, 40 pips. This is the average that you'll find within the scalping group. So your total losses would be a grand total of £180. Okay. Now, if you reverse this and a winning zone or a winning trade, it's just the reverse, because we have exactly the same amount of pips and exactly the same pounds per pip. Okay, so everything in this instance with the 3 entries, it just mirrors what we already done. Okay, so total profit would equal £180. So as you can see there, you're 1 for 1 in terms of 1 winning trade, 1 losing trade. As long as the 3 areas activate, obviously, you are going to be in profit using this fixed entry model where you're using the same lot size on entry 1, entry 2, and entry 3. Whatever that lot size may be, we're given this example just to reiterate, we're just making out that the lot size is the equivalent of £1 per pip. Okay. Now that's completely dependent on your lot size, on your risk appetite, on your account size, what lot size you use. But whichever you use, you're doing the same entry here, whether it's 0.1, 0.25, whatever it is on every single level. So hopefully you guys are following that and this is making sense to you. Again, I won't bother splitting it. Obviously, if you do split that down the middle, you're just going to end up halving it, okay? Which, well, not quite halving it because there's 3 entries, but it basically equates to £63 loss. So in fact, I will type it out. Why not? Why not? So obviously, you can't, if you equally split. So split lot entry. We're going to go 0.35p. Okay, because you can't do 33 and a third. So you would, in this instance, instead of risking £1 overall, you are risking £1 and 5p. All right. So let's go with a fouled zone. Entry 1. Now, entry 1 is 40 pips times, 80 pips times 0.35. which will give you minus £28. Entry 2, which is 60 times 0.35, give you £21 minus £21. And entry 3, which is 40 pips times 35p, give you minus £14. Total loss equals minus £63. Again, like I just said, if you was to reverse this, okay, it's just exactly the same, but in the other order. So a winning trade is reversed. So entry 1 would give you a £14 profit. Entry 2 stays at 21, and entry 3 would give you a £28 win. Okay, so it's exactly the same, just in reverse. Total profit would equal £63. So that's how that one would work. Okay. And that is risking your £1 over the 3 entries rather than £1 on each level. That is splitting it between your 3 different levels. Okay. Now, if we take this example and increase our lot size as you layer, okay, failed zone. Entry 1, and we're going to do entry 1 at 0.20p. Okay, that would give you a loss of £8. Oh, sorry, of £16. That'd be 80 pips. Okay. Entry 2, we're going to use 0.3, so 0.30p, and that would give you a loss of £18. Entry 3, we're going to do 50p per pip. Okay, so we've split that pound into different amounts at each entry level. Okay, so as you can see here, we had £1 at each level, potential loss of 180. Here we've split that in half, or thirds, 0.35, 35p per pip. We've had a £63 potential loss. And if we do that here, entry 3 gives us a £20 loss. Total loss, potentially £54. So again, what have we done as we move down here? You can see that we have slowly decreased the amount of money that you could potentially lose on these trades. Okay, which is what we're trading isn't just about making money, it is about protecting your equity as well. So what is the most efficient way of making sure that one trade doesn't blow your account, or one losing trade doesn't wipe out 3, 4, 5 winning trades? Because it's very, very frustrating, and we've all been there, believe me. This is why I'm making this video, to try and help you guys understand, and you can try and work out or find a way that works better for you. Okay, so if we have a winning trade, all right, winning trade, entry 1, again, entry 1 will be 0.20p, as we know, and the winning amount will be £8 profit. Entry 2, oh, entry 2, 1.30p per pip, the winning amount becomes £18. Exactly the same. Because remember, 60 and 60. So there's going to be no difference at entry 2. Entry 3, at 0.50p per pip, will then go and give you profit of £40. Total profit has the potential to be £64. So now you can see that for the first time in all of these scenarios, 6 different ways of entering on 2 different entry models, for the first time, the actual winnable amount is in your favor. So you can actually make £10 more from a winning trade that activates all levels than you would make from your losing trade or losing zone that all levels fail and you take a loss of £54. So this is now in your favor. And this one here is the way that I trade this system. Okay. Psychologically, it helps. Mathematically, it helps. And if you can get on more of these trades, you're going to find that you are protecting your account and growing your account nicely. And that's the way that I do it. So I'm hoping that this makes sense. Now, there's obviously more in-depth ways to discuss this in terms of managing positions, targeting higher, going break even, those sort of things. Now, that's going to be a video for another day. May even do that as a live training call where you guys can ask as many questions as you want. But I'm hoping this helps you to understand a little bit. Now, for argument's sake, say you wanted to be a bit more patient and you wanted to take entry 1 out of the mix, okay? Take this one that's against you in terms of risk to reward out of the mix and used our example here. Okay, we're not going to redo these figures, but let's just keep it at 30 and 50. Okay, if you take that £16 loss off, you would then be at, what would you be at? You'd be at 50, 48, £38 loss. £38 loss, but only take a £8 win away. £38 loss with a £56 win rate. So again, the difference is getting bigger and bigger. That depends on if you want to be patient, if you want to wait, and less trades will activate, but more trades are going to be in your favor in terms of your risk to reward. So there's plenty of other ways that we can discuss this further down the line, but I want to keep this as short as possible. And I know this has probably felt like it's dragged on a little bit now, so I'm going to leave it here. So yeah, hopefully you guys get some value out of that. Any questions, you know where I am. Feel free to DM me or WhatsApp me or message me on Telegram, whatever way you've been in contact with me, and ask me any questions you may need. But hopefully that will help you guys in terms of your positioning and layering into these trades and seeing your account grow nicely. Thanks very much, and I'll speak to you soon.